do is I want you to hitchhike your thumb and get it out of the way. Hitchhike it straight up in the air. Keep your eyes closed.
Hands up, drop the weapon, put your hands in the air. Put the gun down.
I never had a class like that in college. They never taught us, hey, you know, probably within the next 10 or 15 years, there's going to be a handful of you that are going to strap on bulletproof vests and run toward gunfire. Well, that's the direction our society has gone. We got to have people that are willing to do that.
The teacher has her or his hands full trying to figure out what their kids are built from. Why can't this child read? What's going on at home? How can I help them? And then to have in the back of their mind, I need to be watching out for this, and I need to know where I'm going to get my gun.
After Sandy Hook, between the Sheriff's Department and the school district, they offered concealed carry classes for teachers for free. When you sit in trainings and you realize just how long it takes if something were to happen, I think we should be armed all the time.
A few years ago in the school system, we would have never thought about getting guns. Like I said, we had room mothers, so that was like our safety.
We're going to interrupt programming. We've been telling you this morning there has been a shooting at a school in Newtown. This is the Sandy Hook Elementary School.
The tragedy was of such size and scope that it really wasn't a local tragedy. It wasn't a state tragedy. It probably wasn't even a national tragedy. It was a global tragedy. The Second Amendment advocates started saying, you know what? This is not a gun problem. This is a mental health problem. And the mental health advocates started saying, no, 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 no. This tragedy could not have been duplicated without this military-grade firepower.
We load schools with every responsibility society wants foisted on children because they are the one universal institution that everyone passes through. So we expect teachers and schools to provide sex education and driver's training and make sure that kids master these tests. And some people think they should be responsible for forms of moral education. There's virtually nothing that we don't hold schools responsible for because there are no other universal institutions through which our children pass.
We are working before school, we are working after school, we work on the weekends. I can't find 5 minutes in a day sometimes to say, how you doing? What's going on with you? Why didn't you do well on the test? What can we talk about to fix it?
Everybody thinks I'm a gun nut, and I certainly understand that label, but really I'm a safety nut. Buckeye Firearms Foundation, because we've linked up the schools and the trainers, we kind of became a hub of information. When we announced it, I actually had media mock me. Teachers don't want to carry guns. Do you even think you're going to get 24 people want to even take your class? Yeah, I think so. In a couple of weeks, we had over 1,000.
I understand teachers may be the best shot in the world on a paper target. Studies have shown police officers, FBI agents, law enforcement across the state, they miss 70% of the time when placed in high-stress situations. We go through scenario trainings yearly, several times a year, but we also do it daily. Every time we go to a call, we practice that. Teachers don't. They don't have the time. They are there to educate.
It's a Glock 23 handgun, and this is what certainly the first responder team members practice with at the firing range.
Now we're walking into the building with teachers we don't know that are going to be armed. And the chance that we could meet each other in a hallway, you have split seconds to identify threat, no threat. And now not only do I have 1 or 2 possible shooters, now I have 4, 5, 6, 7 other guns in that building that I have to be concerned about.
These are the school security bulletproof vests that we have readily accessible for the first responder team members. And we have these located in close proximity to the biometric safes that all of our first responder team members can access. This stops everything but a high-powered rifle.
One of the problems with turning to arming teachers as a solution to the rash of school shootings is it doesn't address the fundamental causes of violence. It doesn't address the culture of violence that we're steeped in, the way everyone's being educated into values of violence and violence as an easy answer to difficult problems.
This mental health system that we've developed is terrible. If you live in certain parts of Connecticut today and you have a child and you're paying attention and you say, I don't know what to do, but I know my child needs help. Let me find a child psychologist. You don't have access to one.
School shooters are the tip of a very big iceberg. They are the violent tip of a very big iceberg of depression. We have a lot of problems with depression among our teenagers. Most of them grow out of it. Most of them get past it. The ones who are in very small towns who don't think they're going anywhere start to feel very closed in and unable to see their way past their teenage years. If you're on the outs, if you're the marginal square peg in a round hole in a town like that, and you can't see that you're ever going to get out, then your marginality feels like a life sentence, and you might do something desperate.
All right, so real quick, remember, where did we leave off with lesson 1? These kids sitting in my room have dealt with more things in their short lives than I have in my 43 years. We're becoming this violent, selfish, just morally decrepit culture, and it's sad. I mean, I love this country, but we are destroying our kids.
We need to do everything we can to keep our children safe, not just the politically correct things, because there's nothing politically correct about killing children.
Part of what's at stake in this debate is being honest about what are the problems and what are the solutions to the problem. And for me, in a way, arming teachers is kind of a ruse, in that it's a distraction, in that it gets people focused away from this question of what is producing all this violence to the question of, well, do we or don't we want teachers to have guns in schools? Most teachers don't want guns in school. Most students don't want guns in school. Most police officers don't want guns in school. And I think most citizens don't want guns in school. The gun lobby and the gun makers want guns in school.
I was not trained to shoot a gun, and I don't think that there's any training that anybody can give me to teach me that. I am not somebody who could take a gun and shoot someone else, especially if it were a student from this building.
Almost 100 school shootings since Sandy Hook. We got to do something better.